This is the final video in a three-part series of getting this Aerosky quadcopter converted from a multi-wee board to a KK2. And I'll show you how it flies with the PI gains set for both acro and self-level mode. And then walk you through just how I got to those values. Then I'm going to package this guy up and ship him back to Soldier 53 Flyer in Michigan. And then he's going to put his FPV gear on it and donate it to his local charity where they're going to auction it off. So let's just take a look at how it flies in acro mode and then auto level mode. Okay, so we're in acro mode. Have our gain set. It flies really nice. I have the gains dialed back just a little bit because this is going to go to a beginner pilot, so we don't want to have it too responsive. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and flip it into auto level mode, and you'll notice that I do have the switch configured. So switch that, and you can kind of see how that behaves. Just giving a little stick input back and forth. As you just saw in acro and self-level mode, everything was very controllable, and I would say just about right for a beginner or novice flyer. So I'm going to show you my PI settings. For pitch and roll, I have 75 for P gain, 50 for P limit, and 40 for I gain, and 20 for I limit. So you'll see that pitch is the same, and as you know, by default those two axes are linked together. So that's just something I recommend, leaving alone when you're getting started. So let's take a look at the yaw. So for the yaw, P gain 75, P limit 20, I gain 30, and I limit 10. Now those are settings that I came to just through looking at some different guides online, and specifically the Hobby King tuning guide. I'll put a link to that in the description, and I'll kind of talk through just real quick how I came to find these gain settings. Okay, so after doing a fair amount of research, I settled on the Hobby King tuning guide. It's in the file section on the KK2 page of Hobby King, but I'll put a link to it in the description as well. So just, going over this briefly, I started with the recommended gain settings of 30, 100, 0, and 20 on the roll and pitch P and I gains, and I set the default yaw P and I gains 50, 20, 0, 10. Sorry, that's for the gains and the limits. So next up, what I did was it recommends starting with these settings and then taking your quad, or you're taking your multi-rotor for a flight, and from there you can increase the roll and pitch by increments of 10 or 5, and kind of see how your multi-rotor flies with each increment. And so what I did is I actually tried to do something a little bit different. I bumped my P gain all the way up to about 175. So this is with my P gain at about 175 and no I gain. So really difficult to control and a lot of oscillation. So once I noticed that my quad was oscillating a bunch, I started working backwards, dialing back the P gain, and I settled on about 70. As I pointed out earlier, this is going to be a setup for a beginner pilot, so 70 with this Aerosky quadcopter setup is really good. It's not too responsive, but definitely, there's a little bit of lag when you hit the stick, but not too much. Definitely something that I would feel good about doing if I were getting started all over again. So once I settled on 70 for the P gain, I went down, and if you look at the roll pitch I tuning, I started with the default value of 0, and I started working that that number up. So what you want to do is get that number to a place where if you're in, in attitude mode, like you're pitching forward or rolling to the side, and you let off the stick, you want to maintain that if you're in acro mode. And so I came to a good value of 50 for the I gain. Now, if you look at the guide, it actually says, you could set the I gain to anywhere to 50 to 100% of the P gain. And finally, for the yaw P and I gains, tested quite a few different settings, and what I've found to be the case is that if you look in this document, it gives you some steps and tells you what to expect, and then it says alternatively you can set it to 100% of the roll and pitch P gain, as well as do the same with the I tuning and setting it to 100% of the yaw P gain, and I've found that those settings have worked really well with this setup. Okay, now lastly I'm going to talk quickly about toggling into self-level mode. Now normally you're down and left with your throttle, and to the right to enable your self-level, and then to disable it, it's down and then left on your roll stick. What we want to do now is actually, that works great for when you're on the ground, but let's say you're in the air and you want to toggle from acro mode into self-level mode. As long as you have 5 channels, you should be okay. Now, the 5th channel, you'll see that I have wired into this 5th port, and it actually comes out of channel 5 on my receiver. And so if you go into your menu settings and you go down to mode settings, you'll see that self-level right now is triggered by the stick. So we actually want to change that to auxiliary mode. And it's as simple as that. Now you'll notice if I toggle my switch, it'll go from off to on the self-level setting. And once you've configured your auxiliary switch to enable your self-level mode, you want to go down to self-level settings and basically set your P gain and limit. And I set those nearly identical to what I have for my pitch and roll and acro mode, so 70 and 45, and as you saw at the beginning of the video, self-level mode works great. And if I want to start off in acro mode, I have my switch up, and then you'll notice if I just toggle, then I go into self-level mode. So I hope this series of videos was useful in helping you get your KK2 up and running. It was definitely pretty fun learning experience for me, and I have to admit, coming from a NASA and an APM 2.5 background, it's really cool to be able to toggle your gains from the LCD display. So now I'm going to box this Aerosky back up, ship it to Soldier 53 Flyer, and then he can move on with auctioning this quadcopter off. But I hope this video was useful, and if you have any questions about the settings, feel free to post in the comments below, and thanks for watching.